and welcome back to Ship of Fools. My name is Hannah McLean, and I am your dungeon master on this nautical adventure. Joining me today, I have Andy Latai.
Yes, and I'm Finn Fisher.
Nolani Stevenson.
Regin Starkweather, baby.
And Taylor Wallace.
Malachi Kassir. Don't call me baby.
And we
Regin
are
Starkweather Baby is actually the spin-off animated series we're doing. It's about Regin, but as a toddler.
Aww.
That's
sad
depressing.
series.
He and Kermit are just hanging out.
Oh, you're going Muppet Babies. I thought we were going Boss Baby.
No, why would we?
You know why.
Baby Regin in Paris.
Could also be a Tiny Toons thing.
Ooh. So many possibilities for our spin-off shows. Be on the lookout, everyone. So, we are here with episode 23. So let's do a little bit of a recap, and then we can dive right in. And someone's actually underwater this time, as I say that. I don't think we've ever started an episode with someone underwater before.
When we were wrecked in the ship, we might have been.
You know that's true. We started episode 1 with you underwater. Okay, so after wrapping up their business at the Archaeological Artificers Association headquarters, which included getting some sick magical items, as well as hearing some rather disturbing things about Dr. Retval, the Lithios scientist who had questioned Regin when he was in prison and is responsible for Alden no longer having sorcerer magic.
Questioned is an interesting word.
Question. We're being, questioned, quote unquote. After all this, the boys set off for Finn's hometown, Gillsbury. There they met Finn's...
Represent.
There they met Finn's childhood best friends, Min and Baleen, as well as Finn's parents, his mentor, Father Ceviche.
Also, I would say current best friends. Let's not count them out.
Wow. You're right. Finn's current best friends.
Wow.
As well as Finn's parents and his mentor, Father Ceviche, and the various other residents of Gillsbury. They had dinner, swapped stories, just a very generally nice, wholesome scene, and then Regin briefly bonded with some people at a bar, and then everyone went to bed, where all 3 party members had a collection of disturbing dreams.
I had an awesome time.
You had an awesome time after your dream. So Regin dreamed that he was standing on a cliff sparking with lightning and then saw a dragon up in the clouds. Malachi dreamed that he was on an island with a cave, thinking about making a big life decision, and heard the voice of the dreamer saying some very kind of unsettling things. And Finn had a dream that he was nearly drowning.
Fun stuff.
Until he saw a great kind of enormous being under the water, and woke up to find himself standing on the actual beach.
Boy, if I had a nickel.
Felt the ocean calling to him, went underwater, found that he could breathe underwater, and encountered a strange humanoid figure who introduced himself as Kathoth and said that he was a follower of Finn's father, the Lurker in the Deep. However, we are not picking up with Finn under the ocean. We are instead going to cut back.
All right, I'll be in my trailer.
Bye.
Large powder puff for Mr. Latai, please.
We'll need you in an undisclosed amount of minutes. We are instead cutting back to the home that Finn grew up in. Regin, I need you to immediately give me a charisma save.
Oh.
That's a 4 that comes to a 10.
A 4 that comes to a 10. Okay.
10's not awful.
Starting off strong, everybody.
You are indeed. So, Regin, you sit bolt upright in bed, covered in sweat, and more disturbingly, all the hairs on your neck are standing up, all the hairs on your arms are standing up. There's this crackling electricity in the air. Malachi, you wake up at almost the same moment. Your head's still kind of spinning with what these...
Shouting, get out of my head.
Yep, I believe that is what you were shouting. You sit upright shouting this and look over at Regin. Regin, I need you to make a spell attack roll with advantage against Malachi's armor class.
Ooh.
Boy, oh boy. I think you're okay. Because that was a natural 1 and a 6. And the 6 comes to... What's the 6 come to?
It doesn't matter.
You never make spell attacks, so you don't know. It's probably at like a 13.
Sure. You're fine.
Yeah, either way, it's not going to hit. So Regin sits bolt upright, and this kind of like, just like uncontrolled lightning kind of goes throughout the room. Just this brief like flare of just the whole room being lit up. Malachi, you kind of duck and like hide your face and manage to avoid being actually struck by any of this lightning. Regin, you kind of, after a second, you're able to kind of get it under control and feel the kind of surge of power subside. And you are sitting there wherever you were sleeping. Malachi's next to you, also awake. The two of you look around the room and see that Finn is not here.
The room's fine, though? The lightning just sort of,
the room's
fizzled?
fine. It just kind of, like, maybe, like, the edges of a couple of those, like, drawings and stuff that were up on the wall are, like, very slightly singed. Finn's, like, picture of the lurker in the deep is,
They need
like,
to be updated anyway.
But it's not destroyed. It's just kind of, like, burned around the edge
My masterpiece!
now. But nothing catches fire or anything like that. It was just this, like, brief surge of electrical energy.
You okay? I ask that. I look around. Where's Finn?
Regin is speechless and sweaty.
Malachi puts the dream out of his head for the moment being, bolts up out of bed, searches the room quickly. I assume, do I see anything that indicates that Finn might have, like, gone, or?
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
13.
13. You notice that Finn didn't really take any of his stuff with him. Like, all of his stuff is still here. It doesn't look like he brought anything. And you notice that nothing is kind of like amiss. There's no signs of a struggle or anything. And that the door, which you guys had closed before you went to bed, is standing slightly ajar.
Can I say that I also just, like, do a quick sweep around the house, too?
Yeah, you do a quick sweep around the house. Are you being careful not to wake up Finn's parents?
I mean, I'm, like, being kind of quiet, but I'm still wearing my plate armor. But I'm not just, like, walking around like you would. Well, I didn't intend to fall asleep, if you'll remember correctly.
I did not remember that.
Go ahead and make if you're trying to not wake them up, go ahead and make a stealth check.
Ooh, disadvantage.
Disadvantage because of the plate.
Can we say that Malachi is wearing plate armor, but also has, like, a little blue nightcap on his head?
I wasn't going to sleep.
Finn's parents provided them to you as just kind of this is what we give guests.
To be polite. Regin's is standing straight up in the air.
Yeah.
The pom-pom is fried.
With disadvantage, and the fact that I have a -1 to stealth, it's an 8.
Cool. You kind of are searching around the house, and there's this kind of clank from your armor. And you see Finn's mom kind of like pushes open the door from their bedroom, sort of sleepy, and she kind of like rubs her eyes, and she's like, "Dear, is there?
I'm so sorry.
It's like midnight. You've got your armor on and everything."
Oh, I just needed a glass of milk.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and make me a deception check.
Can we get a milk check?
One.
Oh, we're nailing this, guys.
Comes to a 5.
Great session so far, everyone. She kind of like looks at you suspiciously a little bit, and she's like, "Is there something wrong? Is everything all right?"
It's nothing. It's nothing to do with your lovely home. Sorry, I don't sleep well in new places. That's all.
Oh, okay. That's fine. It's still
You can go back to sleep. I didn't mean to wake you.
She gives you a kind of that like mom look that's kind of like, I clearly know something's going on, and she goes, "Okay, let me know if there's any problem."
Of course.
And she sort of like slowly closes the door.
I totally meant this to be just like he pops around for like 2 seconds, takes a look, goes back in.
It's a small house.
It is a small house.
You notice that Finn is not here anywhere, and that it doesn't look like he like took his shoes with him, or
is the front door open?
Yes, the front door is like also very slightly ajar.
Okay. I see this. I go back in, trying to be more quiet this time, back into Finn's bedroom. Is Regin still sitting in bed?
Regin has bolted out of the house by now.
I'm in the room. You could not bolt past me out of the house.
Well, you were having a conversation with his mom.
No, it's a small house, you dumbass.
I went out the window.
Hannah.
Why?
I gotta get out, man. I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
Go ahead and roll a d20 for me to see if there's a window that you can climb through in Finn's room.
16.
Okay, yes. There's a window. The window in Finn's room is now open, and Regin is not
I do
in.
like the salt air when I sleep.
Who doesn't?
Regin is not in the room.
I hate you. Malachi says, fuck. And then he peeps out the door again just to make sure that Finn's mom didn't look out when he said that.
No sign of her.
Well, I see the open window, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like a minute, so
Yes.
I look out. Can I still see Regin?
Yeah, he's probably just, like, out there.
Okay.
Like, you know when, like, you want to scream, but, like, you can't scream out loud, so you just kind of, like, bury, like, your hand, your mouth in your fists and or shirt and, like, double over. Anybody else do that? No? Okay.
No, I do. I'm with you.
I just keep it in my head.
Yeah. He's out there doing that. Probably running for the beach,
Okay, so
which I'm assuming is very close by.
Yeah.
Hannah, I look at my bag really quickly to see if my jar of dirt and my rock are in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have all your stuff with you.
I take the rock out and I leave it in the bag and I bring with me my jar of dirt.
Okay.
And I leave the house.
It's time for the final battle with Davy Jones.
Listen, the dirt makes me feel safe, okay? It is my comfort dirt.
Okay, Pigpen.
It's in a jar. We all know otherwise he's a clean freak. So I go out and I run quietly, clanking over to Regin. I do close the door and the window behind me so that nothing else.
Because Regin is more just kind of like erratically making his way toward the beach and Malachi is like making a beeline for him, I'm gonna say that you're able to catch up with him despite his squat nimbleness that normally gives him a quicker speed.
Fuck. No, I have no idea what to say to him. Okay, I catch Regin and I don't grab him. I say, Regin.
What? He, like, whips around when you say his name.
I put my hands up, like, non-threateningly. But not in, like, I think you're gonna kill me way, but just sort of like, dude, I'm not trying to...
Malachi's going for the high 10.
Yeah, I run up to Regin and I hold out my hands for high 10. No. Everything's good in there. You didn't... I know that whatever... Don't know what you were dreaming about, but...
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Okay.
I'm good. House is good. Are you?
Okay.
Finn's gone, though.
Okay.
And
Reagan's trying to, like, compartmentalize, but it's taking a minute.
I do look shaken, but you can't tell if that's from you or what. The door was open. The front door was open. I think... Seems like we all had something weird going on, and I'm worried Finn's might still be happening.
Do you have a nightmare?
Something weird's going on. Do I see anything on the beach indicating where Finn might have gone?
Go ahead and make a perception check. Regin, you can make one too.
13.
17.
With the 17, Regin, you spot a set of footprints, because you guys had also come from Finn's house. So you see a set of footprints running along a pretty similar path that you guys took, just kind of down the sand and then into the water.
And that, my son, was where Nurgle carried you.
Hey, speaking of which,
Oh.
you guys actually see that Nurgle, also not in the room when you woke up, Regin, as you sort of, and Malachi with a 13, you see this too, as your eyes sort of track the footprints down to the water, you see a single seagull just kind of standing with his feet, like, in the surf.
I say...
Kind of, like, standing, like, looking out to sea, basically.
I walk up beside... I say, Nurgle?
I, like, rake my hands through my hair and, like, take a few deep breaths that do absolutely nothing, and like just kind of like, you know when like dogs are uncomfortable and they do a big shake, he does that. And I'm like, okay, no, he's home. He's just happy to be home. He's probably just out for a swim or something. He probably does this all the time.
And leaves the door open?
Sure. Yup. Fuck, I need a drink. Oh, hey, Nurgle.
Nurgle. I want to recon. I don't approach Nurgle. It's sort of like that thing where you see, like, in a horror movie, there's a creepy child at the end of the hall, but it's just, like, your kid, so you just call out their name. You're like, honey, but you don't approach it. That's what I do to Nurgle. I'm like, Nurgle?
He turns his head toward you and...
360 degrees?
No, just a normal amount of turning.
Okay. I say, where's Finn? I cast Speak with Animals.
Cool. What components do Speak with Animals have?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god, we're
Do
doing
we have to do-
components
Oh, shit,
now?
because I don't have my fucking
Under
holy
Speak
symbol.
with Animals, in the spell description, does it say VSM? Does it say M?
1 second, I have to look at it.
We follow the rules of Dungeons and Dragons here.
Yep. VS. What does that mean again?
Cool, you're good. It means verbal and somatic, so you don't need material components.
Okay.
So it is not a problem that you left your holy symbol back in the room. You...
Listen, I know it's a stupid thing to do.
You have a brief moment of kind of like, because you usually cast your spells through your rock, of kind of like going into your pocket for it and realizing it's not there.
And then I just feel like a jar of dirt and I just do it without the rock.
Yeah. Nurgle kind of like looks at you and he's like, Malachi, lovely evening to be out on the beach.
I suppose. Is that why you're here?
Well, I'm waiting for Finn.
How long has he been gone?
Oh, not too long, like 45 minutes maybe? I don't know, I don't pay attention to time, I'm a bird.
Oh, that's Did he seem normal? When he went into the water? That's a long time.
Oh, by the time he went into the water, yes, he seemed normal.
I look at Regin, who of course understands nothing that we're saying. What do you mean by the time he went into the water?
Well, he sleepwalked out here, and then woke up, and then went into the water.
He sleepwalked.
Makes sense.
I look very disturbed at the mention of sleepwalking. Can you swim, Nurgle?
Not as a bird.
Hold on just a second. We went through a whole thing where we established that seagulls can swim like 10 episodes ago.
What?
They can
Underwater?
swim, but they can't dive. Like, they can't go for a
You're right,
swim
you're right.
underneath water.
Allow me to clarify. Nurgle says, yes, I can bob along the top of the water like a duck or any other aquatic bird. However, Finn went underwater to the bottom of the ocean, and I can't do that.
Nurgle says he's at the bottom of the ocean.
Well, that's probably fine then, right? Like that's normal, I would assume.
I have to go back to the house and rummage through my pack and grab the little bag of stuff that that was given to us. Actually, hold on. Who has the little breathing underwater potions? Was that me or did Finn have those?
I think you had those.
You had all of the potions.
Okay.
And you also have the armor that lets you breathe underwater.
Well, I know. I'm not looking for me.
Oh, right. Reagan's a loser who can't do it either.
What the fuck, Andy?
Get a load of this guy. Can't breathe underwater on his own in our aquatic campaign.
Before I turn, I look at Regin warily. I say, "Don't move. I'll be right back." And I go get my bag.
Reagan's torn between like being a bitch and like finding direction, like weirdly soothing in this moment. So he's like, okay. Yeah, okay.
While you're doing that, we're gonna cut back to, underwater at the bottom of the ocean. Finn,
Yes, I'm gonna go knight to queen 5. Oh,
Andy,
we're back.
Andy,
Okay,
we're back.
hey, yes.
Get off the chess podcast, back onto this podcast. Okay.
Sorry, one of my many other projects.
Fast and Furious podcast, chess
Can I
podcast.
actually get like some sugar in this? Would that be? Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
So you and Kathoth are under the ocean.
My man.
He has just introduced himself and said that his that your father had a job for you. And he kind of says, like, so, your father has a job for you, and I am here to introduce myself to you as well as to give you the details on said task and to help you successfully complete it.
All right. I've always wanted a personal assistant.
Well, I wouldn't say that's the nature of this relationship.
Sorry. Executive administrator.
I don't know if that's quite right either. More like a...
Me neither.
Like a mentor.
I don't actually have that much business experience.
Like, I outrank you. Okay.
So sorry. My bad. Can I get you anything?
Much better. Not right now, but thank you. Let's walk a bit. And he starts just kind of like, he says walk, but he's really just kind of like drifting along.
Yeah, I'm swimming. I'm not walking.
The sand of the ocean floor kind of like kicking up behind him a little bit as he's sort of just like drifting along.
I want to specify I'm doing like an underwater backstroke. So he's, I imagine, standing upright and I'm like horizontal next to him looking up.
Great, okay. And he says, so, you've grown up in this town, correct?
I sure have.
And you're probably familiar with the waters around.
Oh, yeah.
So, but you probably...
Hey, Gerald, how you doing? I nod to a passing fish.
Hey, Finn. You probably have not been to the bottom of the ocean many times, as I imagine the ability to breathe underwater was only recently gifted to you.
Right. Oh yeah, like right now. This is a big day for me.
Auspicious timing. So, there is a...
Is it always so dark down here?
Yes. You get used to it.
Weird.
Well, sometimes there's like an anglerfish or something else with a light on it. Bioluminescence? So... This little island is mostly, just a normal island with a happy fishing village. However, there is a reef that you may be familiar with a little ways away. Finn, you are familiar with this. There is a small, a fairly small kind of coral reef, a little ways off from Gillsbury, kind of like about half an hour to like a little bit more than half an hour out by boat, depending on wind speeds, etc. That is part of the reason why, because lots of fish like to hang around a coral reef, and so it's part of why fishing in Gillsbury has historically been, prosperous, and why it can be a fishing village, is that there's more fish in the area, despite the fact that the reef itself is not that big. But you do have to be careful kind of sailing around it, as one is around reefs, but you know how to navigate those waters. You've never had any issue with that. So he says, like, so you're familiar with the reef that's nearby?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So within this reef, there is an area of, like a center of power, a spot where the layer between planes and is maybe a little bit thin, where magic and the sort of powers of this world we inhabit can more easily exert their influence on the area around them. Your father has managed to maintain control over this particular center of power for the past 100 years or so. That he... and Finn, go ahead and make me this is actually going to be a religion check. Or Arcana. I'll let you use Arcana if that's higher.
Nat 20.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Finn's eyes roll back and he just suddenly receives knowledge.
Yeah. So you... Great. God, I love when your nat 20s are convenient for me. I don't have to explain this in Kathoth's voice. I can just explain it in my voice. So you just kind of inherently know, Finn, that in the Lunluma Ocean, kind of part of the deal with it is that there are powerful entities out there that sort of exert control over various parts of the ocean. You know that out here in kind of the Western Sea and the Northern Sea, the kind of more heavily populated by like humanoids, these areas, there tend to be less of these powers, or that they have like less influence. And that it's more when you get out into like the Sea of Storms, the Aberrant Sea, the Lightless Sea, those more wild places, that you have more and more of these kind of great beings. However, you also know that there is a sort of like, almost like a territorial, not like a war exactly, but like a territorial type of thing going on, where one particular area or island can be claimed by a particular person. And by person, I of course mean, you know, eldritch being, or what have you. And so you just kind of, when he says, like, your father has maintained control, you kind of get the sense that there is, what he's saying is that this reef is some sort of power center, and that it has been considered as kind of belonging to the Lurker for the past 100 years.
That's my pop.
Kathoth looks like a little bit impressed, and he's like, so you're familiar. Good. I was afraid I was going to have to give you, like, you know, 101 arcane power, but this is good. Okay, so of late, there have been more and more activity around this power center. It sort of comes and goes like the tides, a sort of waxing and waning of when there is a particular amount of power coming from it. And something, the cycle is about to hit its peak. And your father wanted you to be there for this occasion. But it could prove dangerous to actually get, because in order to be there, you need to get inside the reef. And it is inhabited, once you get deeper within it, by some creatures who perhaps are less friendly to humanoids like yourself, as well as perhaps less friendly to followers of your father. And
are they Kuatoa?
Not Kuatoa.
Can't stand those guys. Well, they do have a great head on their shoulders for business.
I thought I'd heard that as I was kind of making my way over here. Some fish were talking about it.
Let me ask you something, Kathoth.
Yes?
You ever thought you could use a little extra income on the side?
On the side of my business being a follower of your father?
Yeah, I don't really know what the compensation structure there is. But,
we don't really
what if I told you could be your own boss, set your own hours?
Possessions don't really mean anything to me. I've sort of become consumed by my following of the Lurker in the Deep.
Well,
grew tentacles.
Well, that's commendable of you.
Oh my god, he didn't have those before? Finn's gonna grow tentacles someday?
Ah, if only.
Hey, puberty, baby. You got time.
He's 19.
Well, hey, if you meet anyone who does still have attachment to material possessions, you send them my way. I have got a fantastic investment opportunity for them.
Okay.
Sorry, you were saying?
You can make an insight check, Finn.
11.
Okay. He just kind of like frowns a little, and looks around, and goes, all right, so your father wants you to be present when the cycle of power hits its peak, which is almost exactly 24 hours from now at midnight tomorrow. So if you could, at that time, make your way to the reef, make your way inside, and see, you'll know when you see it. It's a very large, You'll know it when you see it. I also will join you at that location at that time, although I prefer to not go above the surface of the water if I don't have to, because it scares people.
How polite.
It's true. It would be frightening for them to see someone so clearly living the ideal existence when they're not.
And that's exactly. People are just kind of odd. So that is the message that I was sent here to deliver to you. Until then, you can feel free to, I don't know if you came here for any other reason, or not that, you know. Anyway.
Can I? Well, I have 2 questions, actually.
Oh, yes.
First, can my friends come?
Sure. Your father didn't specify that you needed to be alone. So, and they probably would...
I don't know if they could breathe underwater, but I guess I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
They probably would be helpful in terms of getting through the reef and the things that might try to fight you. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they've killed plenty.
Oh, good. Good for them.
Second question.
Not as much as you, Finn. Well...
That's true. I lean in and I'm like, but not as much as me.
In this campaign.
That's good. I like to see... It's good to see that you're spreading the word and ways of your father throughout the land.
Ah, killing.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Not had a lot of success so far, I've got to say.
Yes, you seem to...
Not a lot of very receptive audiences, hence the killing.
Are they at all receptive to your supplement plan, or is that like a separate thing?
Well, that's separate, but also, no, not very receptive.
Did he say
to
it was
that.
supplements?
I don't think I did.
To your business opportunity thing. He said he heard about it from some fish on the way.
Oh, true.
That's true. I have been talking it up to them.
Yeah. Right. So, perhaps losing the focus on the mission of, flooding the lands and all that. Getting distracted by other business opportunities.
Well, I'm not the one doing the flooding.
No.
That's way beyond me.
This is true, but sort of preparing, making sure that...
Oh, geez, am I supposed to be able to flood the planet?
I don't know.
I'm not even close.
Well,
to that.
Maybe should work on that also.
Oh my god.
I
can only create 40 gallons of water.
That's a start. I don't think... Hold on. I also can create 40 gallons of water. He sort of, looks at you and he's like, all right, so did you have another question?
Oh, right. Have you heard of Rosalia Starhouse / do you know if she's nearby?
Ooh, let me make a history check for this guy.
I'm pretty sure she's a bad woman, and we're here investigating because she might be doing something shady around here.
He sort of, frowns a little and he says, the high priestess of one of the surface kingdoms, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the name sounded familiar. I have not had any dealings with her myself, but she's someone that we, back home, or back at home base, I suppose, had heard of. Yes. Is she in the area?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
All right. Well, generally, the followers of the kings and queens of the surface kingdoms tend to be opposed to our ends and our methodologies most of the time.
They just don't get it.
No, they really don't. They're all about kind of human progress and taking the riches of the sea and using it for profit and all of that sort of thing, which we and your father are firmly against. So, generally, I would expect, I would advise you to stay away from her, because I imagine that your powers and your allegiances would not be well received by the denizens of the surface.
Right. Well, yeah, no, I think we're already at the point where I consider her an enemy. Don't worry about that.
Good. Glad to hear it. I also will consider her an enemy and keep an eye out for anything I hear. Maybe I'll ask the fish.
Wow. I should have thought of that.
It's all right. You're still learning. How long have you been developing your talents, your magical talents?
Like a few years now.
Yeah. So see, you're still learning. Although from what I've heard, you've gotten quite powerful in that amount of time.
Oh yeah, it's been like an exponential curve. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
They teach high-level mathematics at bench school?
Well,
he learned that from a tortoise.
Well, it seems to me like you're well on your way, so I will see you tomorrow night at midnight under the coral reef.
Romantic.
All right. Take it easy.
Enchantment under the sea.
Let me know if you need any photocopies or anything.
All right. He...
For somebody who doesn't get paid, Kathoth definitely does not get paid enough for this shit.
He kind of nods and he's like, All right. And he reaches out and touches your shoulder, Finn, and he casts Water Walk on you. And you begin to shoot toward the surface at a rate of 60 feet per round. As you sort of slowly, so it's not that far shooting, but it's pretty quick. As you kind of like,
Bye, Katha!
I'll see you tomorrow night. Goodbye, Finn.
Andy, do the water voice.
Bye, Katha!
Finn instantly dies of decompression sickness.
Decompression sickness doesn't exist in this world.
Wow.
Oh, so Radiohead's The Bends doesn't exist either? What the fuck, dude?
Yep, we're not dealing with water pressure because I don't want to. So you rise to the surface, and you are currently capable of walking on water.
Wow. The symbolism is thick.
Is it? You are standing out, like a ways from shore, but you know, kind of generally, you can see kind of the lights of Gillsbury. Not that there's that many at midnight, but some kind of like lanterns and stuff at Gillsbury back.
All right, I stroll on back to the beach.
Meanwhile, at the beach,
Yeah.
Malachi is looking.
Saying a kind hello and giving a little wave to every fish I see pass by underneath me.
Hi, Finn.
Eugene, Horace, Reginald, Thompson.
Why are they all old men?
Hi, Finn.
He's come back with his bag and has rooted around and found the potion and is holding it and is just sort of looking really warily at the water.
Yeah, you're holding the potion. You're kind of starting to pull them out and hand them to Regin. When you guys both catch sight of a figure walking toward you on the surface of the water.
I draw my axe. My dark vision isn't very good, guys. As in, I don't have it, and also I forgot that I have goggles. So.
Oh, Malachi, I knew it would come to this someday.
It's
Finn?
fine, Mal. It's him, and I'm not drinking this shit. Just why? No,
Well,
take this.
if
I'm
he's
not
out of the
drinking
water, then yeah, we don't need to. I look very relieved that we don't need to go into the water.
Hey, I met Kathoth.
Gesundheit.
You guys know Kathoth?
Who?
Oh, I guess not.
I wait till Finn's back on shore.
As soon as you kind of get to the point where you can walk in the sand again, Nurgle like flaps up and kind of lands on your shoulder.
Hey, bud.
What does that mean? I can still speak with animals, so I understand everything he says for the next however many minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes in total.
He said, welcome back, Finn. You good?
Oh, I'm great. You know Kathoth, Nurgle?
I know Kathoth. I'm familiar.
So wait, who is
Yeah,
this
well,
guy?
so do I now. So that's something we have in common.
It
Finn.
is indeed.
You were meeting.
You know what we need, Nurgle? A handshake.
Hold on.
That's good.
Yeah?
Who is this person you're talking about? Who you met under the water?
Oh, you know, he's sort of green skin, tentacles on his face, serves my father with his life.
Okay.
Was this part of the dream or was this separate?
No, this was real. Wait.
Nurgle told me you were sleepwalking.
Whoa. Finn stares at his hands and is like, am I dreaming right now?
I slap Finn across the face.
Oh, thank you, Regin. No, he was real.
Why did he have you meet him in the ocean at midnight?
Ooh, guess what? We're invited to, well, I'm not sure what exactly. Party might be a little strong word, but we're invited to a thing tomorrow night.
Great.
What?
Hold on.
There's a big confluence happening at the center of power over by the reef.
Okay, go.
And my dad wants me to be there.
Go back. Nurgle told me you sleepwalked to the edge of the ocean and then just dove to the bottom. What is going on?
Oh, well, I sleepwalked to the edge of the ocean.
Is that
then I dove down to the bottom.
Is that a normal
Guess
thing?
Guess what? By the way, I can breathe underwater now.
Oh.
Watch. And I go to the edge of the water and just dunk my face underwater for like a couple minutes and then come back up and I'm like, ta-da!
That's great.
I'll take your word
That's
for
great,
it.
Finn. I look very confused because he's not answered any of my questions properly.
All right, okay, fine, Malachi. You want me to spell this out for you? I sleepwalked to the edge of the ocean.
Yeah, we said that
I
part.
went underwater because I can do that now, and I met Kathoth, and he told me that my dad wants me to be at the center of power tomorrow night.
You left.
And also, he said you guys could come
Okay.
if you want.
Well,
I'm busy.
I guess you were asleep,
I've
so
got
you
a
couldn't
plus
really
2.
tell us where you were going. But it is...
Oh, well, because I
little-
sleepwalked.
Do you do that regularly? I've never seen you do that before.
It's not the first time. I wouldn't say regularly, though.
Okay. Well, Regin and I were alone in your childhood home, and we woke up and found you missing.
That's weird when you say it like that.
It's awkward, Finn.
All right. I'm sorry.
Also,
I understand how that could have been alarming.
To be honest, it's a little alarming since we were sent here because something fishy's going on in Gillsbury, and then,
Oh, something fishy is always going on in Gillsbury.
Regin and Finn high five.
Right, except for I was already concerned
Yeah.
that this woman might be investigating the place to try and find you, and then we wake up and you're gone, so I don't know. Don't do that again.
Okay.
Mal, are you're really worried about you didn't think he would just go out for a nice evening saunter and swim. I mean, that seems very
I do that a lot.
Right.
That's normally you, Regin.
It is? Do I do that?
Yeah?
Oh, alright.
Finn never goes and ponderously stares at the ocean in the middle of the night.
Hey, it's never ponderous, but Mal, we're gonna be okay. I mean, nobody could. I don't think anybody could do anything to any of us as long as the others were around.
Well, I mean, he could have
Boy, that's the kind of statement that seems safe to make.
Yep.
He could have sleepwalked.
You see, Nurgle kind of looks at you, Malachi, and he goes, foreshadowing.
Regin turns and looks at the camera.
Hey, Regin, if you learned to cast fly, how close to the sun do you think you could get?
Fuck, bro.
Anyways, you could have walked straight into the ocean and drowned. Except for apparently
I can breathe underwater now.
you can breathe underwater now. But we didn't know that, so yes, it was alarming.
Well, also, if you are unconscious and then you stop breathing water, you tend to wake up.
You can still drown.
I can't.
Okay, I know that now, so I will keep that in mind for the future. Malachi just looks very upset.
Hey, no, I get it, Malachi. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But, I mean, it worked out.
Yep. Okay, you can go forward now. What's this power hole thing?
Oh, I mean, that's about all I've got. Basically, it's a place of power, something to do with the planes interacting. And there's some big thing happening there tomorrow night.
Like a party?
Again, I'm unclear. Although there definitely are going to be some gate crashers, I guess you could call them. It sounds like we're going to have to deal with.
I look at Regin. Like, are you hearing this guy?
All right, you guys don't have to come if you don't want to. I was just thinking. It would be nice. It'd be fun.
So, this Kathoth person that you and Nurgle know told you have to go to this power hole and fight people? Is that what's going on?
I mean, he told me my dad wanted me to go.
Your father.
The lurker
The
in the
lurker
deep.
in the deep.
Right, yeah.
I don't know, fighting in a power hole sounds good, but,
Did he say why?
Oh, not exactly.
Is this like a father-son thing?
I hope so.
I don't know what to make of this information. Malachi just looks utterly baffled. When you say a source of power between the planes, I mean, why does he... Fuck, I don't know, man.
I gotta go.
All right, well, this scene seems about wrapped up, huh?
Then you guys can leave at any point. So you guys kind of all start
Would
to...
be sure nice to learn anything.
You guys start to walk back in the direction of Finn's house, unless you don't. But you guys have not gained the benefits of a long rest at this point because you didn't get to sleep through the night.
Okay.
But
Well, isn't it still like midnight?
yeah, it's midnight.
Okay.
So you have time to like get in a long rest and still be up at a reasonable hour.
Okay.
So you guys head back to Finn's house. Do you want to try and sneak in, or?
Yeah, I don't want to wake my parents up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay outside. I wanna go sit at one of the chairs in the fire pit.
If Regin's staying outside, I'm staying outside.
Oh, babe.
I don't trust any of you to not run away.
All right, well, you guys have fun. I'm going to go sleep in my bed. It's comfy there.
It's very comfortable, Finn. It was nice. I did fall asleep there. Not in your bed, on the floor.
All right.
Finn, go ahead and make me a stealth check to sneak back in the house without your parents noticing.
I got a nat 1, which does come to a 7.
Finn, you kind of very quietly sneak inside, very quietly shut the front door behind you. You turn around and there's a soft kind of like sound of a match striking, and then a torch like flares up and your mom is sitting in an armchair, her arms crossed. And she kind of goes, reminds me of the good old days.
Yeah, I sleepwalk to the beach again.
Well, at least you didn't sneak out on purpose to go hang out with your friends this time.
Yeah.
That's, improvement, maturity. Everything okay?
I did hang out with Nurgle a little bit.
Oh, that's good. Nurgle goes, ah! And your mom kind of, like, gives him kind of like a strained smile.
Oh, Mom, watch this! And I fill a pot up with water, and then I just dunk my head inside it for a couple minutes.
She looks exceedingly alarmed and, like, grabs your shoulder and is like, honey, what are you doing?
Oh, no, I can breathe underwater now.
What?
Yeah, finally!
Wow! You stick your head back underwater and she sees you do it and she kind of goes like, you will have to tell your father about that in the morning. I mean, it's a shame you don't fish anymore because that would be so useful in terms of that. Might still be useful.
Yeah.
I mean, really would be. But your father will be so impressed. You should definitely tell him in the morning. Good job, sweetie.
Thanks.
She goes, okay, well, I'm gonna go back to bed. You go get some sleep. Kind of gives you a kiss on the cheek. And goes back into her bedroom, and you go back into yours and go to sleep. You can't help but notice, Finn, with your passive perception as you come into the room, that there's a couple like singe marks on your wall that weren't there when you went to sleep, and that like your drawing of the lurker has like looks like the corner of it got hit with something that briefly lit it on fire.
An omen. Nurgle, what could this mean?
Nurgle seems concerned. You know him well enough. He seems unsettled by this. Cool. You go to sleep. Meanwhile, outside, are you guys just going to sleep or are you just vibing?
I'm not sleeping for the rest of this night.
Yeah, I don't know if he could sleep.
Okay.
Mouse settles in like he's gonna just like sit watch or something.
Is there any alcohol in the house? You said there wasn't, right?
I think I did establish there wasn't last time.
Is the bar still open?
No.
The dad bar? Damn.
It is a tiny little baby town.
Tiny little baby town where everybody wakes up before dawn to go fishing.
Is there like a 7-Eleven?
Nope.
All right. Yeah, he's probably just
get a flask.
I know. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Yeah, I'm just gonna like sit there, arms crossed, like staring into space, I guess.
Cool.
So do we just sit there silently all night?
You could talk if you want to, I'm not gonna.
Nope, I am staring.
Morning, guys. Don't you love having a lot of unused hit dice?
I stare very, very warily out at the ocean the entire time we're sitting outside.
Great. Cool. So the night passes. It gets to be morning.
I just want to say, sorry. While the night passes and I stare warily into the ocean, I also want to reach into my bag and pull out my rock and stare warily at my rock and turn it over in my fingers and see if I feel anything.
Okay.
I'm not going to do anything to it. I'm just going to hold it.
Okay. You can make an insight check.
Okay. 8.
Feels the same as it always has. Gradually, the morning comes. I do need Constitution saving throws from Regin and Malachi.
Nat 1?
Well, I actually did pretty damn well. I'm used to no sleep, and I got it's gonna come to a 19.
Okay, great. Malachi, you're fine. Yeah, you're used to long nights. You just sort of shake it off. You feel fine in the morning.
Fine is an overstatement.
Regin, you have a level of exhaustion, which
sexy.
Yeah, is horrible.
Disadvantage on everything.
God, if only there was some way this could have been prevented.
If only there was some way, but no. Cool. You have a level of exhaustion. which you can look up what that does for yourself. Basically, it gives you disadvantage on, like, most things.
How do you get out of that again, though?
I believe you have to take a full long rest, or you can get, like, lesser restorations.
I can do that.
I think I know a guy who can cast Lesser Restoration, too.
Or, no, sorry, it's actually not lesser restoration. You need greater restoration, which Malachi does not have.
Also, I'm not gonna tell you.
So you guys, in the morning, Finn's parents kind of, like, wake up to see you guys sitting out. Finn's dad at, like, about 15 or so minutes before sunrise. Actually, he would go even earlier. Like, a while before sunrise.
A solid bong before sunrise.
A solid bong before sunrise. Emerges from the house and kind of, like, grabs his fishing pole from next to the house and kind of looks at you two, and he's like, either you want to come with?
Fishing?
Yeah?
I'm afraid they're all kind of scared of me, so I wouldn't be much luck.
I appreciate that, I suppose.
That's a blatant lie. He just doesn't want to go.
Nah, would hate to throw off your groove. It's a beautiful morning for it.
I appreciate
so,
the offer, though.
Savor it.
Mr.
All right.
What's their last name? Mr. Fisher.
Yes. It's only been 23 episodes.
You see, I didn't think of it because he's a fisherman, and that's just too obvious.
He kind of, like, tips his hat to you guys a little bit and walks off toward the beach. And you sit there for a few more hours before Mrs. Fisher kind of, like, brings out some breakfast to you, and she's like, you boys were up early, and brings you, like, eggs. And Finn comes out kind of bleary-eyed, like, a few minutes later.
Oh, man, does everyone feel as well rested as I do?
Yup.
Feeling good.
I'm great.
Great.
We're all good here.
And you guys basically have some time because so Finn, you would know that it takes about half an hour to get out to the reef. I think in terms of, go ahead and make me just like a general history check, Finn.
3.
Okay. You're not entirely sure how, like, deep the reef is in terms of, like, how much time it's going to take you to get to the bottom of the reef. Like, if you were just kind of swimming through, you don't really know enough about it to be able to count on how long that's going to take you. You just know that you're supposed to be at the center of power, whatever that is, by midnight tonight. Which means you guys have some time before you probably need to, like, head out. So just let me know what you want to do.
Should we go investigate the mysterious stranger?
Suppose we could pay a little visit to Mr. Guy.
Well, okay, Regin, I'm hearing your tone there. I do just want to point out, Mr. Gar is a very nice man. It's the mysterious lodger that we're worried about.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry, hang on. Let me retake that. Time to pay a visit to the mysterious lodger in the house of Mr. Guy. It just doesn't have the same ring to it, I'm sorry.
I know, but like as long as you get that internally.
Okay.
Malachi comes back out of the kitchen where he didn't hear anything you were saying because he was looking something up.
Malachi's like frantically reading the back of a Ritz cracker box.
Sorry, what are we doing?
We're gonna go do a little investigation. You know, like secret agents do.
Ooh, investigating what?
The mysterious dude who's living in Mr. Guy's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Mr. Gar a fisher?
Yeah. I mean, he's more or less retired at this point, but, you know, once you're in, you're never really out entirely.
Do we know whether or not...
And Finn all of a sudden, like, looks out at the horizon with sort of a dark look on his face.
Weird.
Does this... What was his name? John or something? Weird?
Yeah.
The mysterious lodger is named John.
Do we know if John does anything during the day, or are we just going to be investigating while he's sitting there in the home?
No idea.
It's just like the villa all over again. We're just gonna do a little drive-by.
That went so well for us.
All right, so Regin will pretend to be my dad.
Yep.
Wait, no, Mr. Gar knows who my dad is.
Mr. Gar should be on the ocean.
I'll be your sexy new stepdad.
Well, like I said, he's semi-retired.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's just go and ask. That couldn't possibly go wrong, could it?
In fact, I think I know a couple people who can help. It's time to get the gang together. And Finn puts on sunglasses and a montage starts.
Great. The montage shows you guys walking to Min and Baylene's little cottage.
It's like 50 feet away.
Yeah. To where there's 2 people to get, and they
But
live
the whole
together.
way, Finn's going, bum, bum, ba-da-da.
And the camera keeps rotating between Malachi, Regin, and Finn. And every time it's on Malachi, he's just walking really, really slowly so that he doesn't get ahead of Finn, it'll switch to Finn, and Finn's doing like the secret agent walk. And then it'll switch to Regin, who's shuffling along dead-eyed. And then it'll switch back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, you guys approach Min and Baylene's house. Do you knock on the door?
Yeah.
You knock on the door. Baylene opens it, and it's kind of like, clearly they've been up for a bit because they're sort of around. So you would know, Finn, because you guys had all talked about this before you left to go adventuring, that Min is actually picking up from as teacher at the one bench schoolhouse, because you guys, as the person who taught you guys, had retired. And so Min has kind of picked up as teacher there. And so Father Ceviche and Min kind of both teach at the bench. But today, by luck, is a Saturday. And so there's no school. So Min is still kind of at home. And you would know that Baylene does kind of like more of the like, when everybody comes in with their catches, she sort of like helps with the, bringing in the catches of fish. I don't know much about fishing. And the cleaning, the processing fish, and that also. But so she has not she has not left for work quite yet. It looks like she's getting ready. And Min is kind of like in pajamas, basically, still, as one does on a Saturday.
King.
Hey guys! And I do my elaborate handshake with each of them.
They do the elaborate handshake with you. You guys, Regin and Malachi, you're amazed by how long it goes on. And also is like a combination.
My eyebrows are raised by the end.
That includes all 3 of them.
Should we do one of those? We should get one of those.
Oh, I've been drawing up some plans. I've been hoping you would ask.
All right.
Finn says this over his shoulder as he's like simultaneously like fist bumping with both of the other 2. And they're kind of like, yeah, hey, come on in, you guys. They welcome you in, and they're like, Baylene's like, so, I remember yesterday you said something about having some pranks to do or something like that while you were in town?
Yeah. Okay, so, first of all, guess what? We're kind of secret agents.
Wow.
No one besides me has actually used that term, but I think it applies.
I look, like I don't think he should be saying this.
I think it applies also.
Wow, I haven't even explained anything to you yet.
I mean, I saw the walk you were doing on the way over here. That to me looked...
Damn it, you weren't supposed to.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Can I want to do an intimidation check.
Why? Fine, go ahead.
Don't intimidate my friends.
When Finn's like, we're secret agents. That was a nat 20.
You have disadvantage.
Oh well, haha.
Oh, okay, well that's a 17 plus 6. So
23.
Sure.
You're not going to roll this well at all when it counts.
I know.
You see, they both kind of like, and you guys' insight is high enough to pick up on the fact that Baylene is like teasing Finn just a little bit, in kind of an affectionate way. But then she sort of like glances over at Regin and gets a little bit more kind of like, okay, so, so you're in town on secret agent stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently none of us are very good at it since we're just telling everybody.
Oh, come on, we can trust them.
I slap a hand over Malachi's mouth. Oh, it feels good.
I bite it. No, I don't. That's a Regin thing.
Yeah, okay, so first thing I should explain, they're just like this a lot, so
Okay.
try to ignore it. That's what I do.
Cool. That works. All right.
Second thing, so there's somebody who we suspect is up to no good in this town. So tell us everything you know about this John guy.
Even before you said John, they both kind of like look at each other and then are like, is it John? And Baylene's kind of like, yeah. So he rolled up to town like a few weeks ago. And, like sometimes people come to town for whatever reason, but he like didn't really have an excuse. He was just kind of like, oh, like I've had enough with the big city and I want to settle down in a nice little village, which like, weird.
We're not even on most maps.
Yeah, and then he and Mr. Gar, I mean, you know how Mr. Gar is. He's super friendly, super welcoming. So they, like, struck up a conversation at some point when they were, like, at the bar or whatever.
As long as you're not bringing him a peach pie, am I right?
You're all right. Anyway, they struck up a conversation They struck up a conversation, no peach pie involved, at the bar. In fact, I think, isn't it right that, like, John also hates peach pie? I feel like that was part of it. Anyway, so they struck up a conversation, and Mr. Gar was like, oh, I've got a spare room, you can stay there. And John's been staying there ever since. He just kind of, like, he's been doing, like, odd jobs for some people around town, kind of like a handyman type of thing. Especially, it's been good since, I didn't have my fish names. It's been good, since Dory's back went out later, so it's been kind of like they've needed, we needed an extra person around. But anyway, so he's been doing that. Seems like kind of nice, but he's like kind of quiet and doesn't really talk much. I mean, I tried to strike up a conversation and he was like really like, didn't really want to talk to me. So
definitely seems weird for a town like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think he's home right now?
He probably would be, like, out doing stuff. I guess if he didn't really have anything to do today, he might be home. Mr. Gar's home, I know that for sure. Because he wasn't going to go out on the boat today. I saw him earlier when I was doing my morning walk. So he's out there. But, so if you wanted to go talk to him and see if he knows anything about what John's deal is, you probably could. I don't know.
All right.
Or I guess if you wanted, I mean, if I could distract Mr. Gar and you could sneak in the back.
I love sneaking in the back.
Okay, Regin.
Just like that time with all the leaves.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
The
old leaf plan.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we've got some good options here.
Is Mr. Gar like a nice old man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
So then I guess as long as it's not dangerous, that sounds fine.
Why would it be dangerous? Yeah, no, he's perfectly
Yeah.
nice. Not like old man Johnson.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to do that? I've got like half an hour.
I look at Finn.
All right, yeah.
Cool. Min kind of waves his hand and he's like, I am entirely too old to be participating in these kind of shenanigans anymore.
I'm entirely too old to be
Okay.
How old is Min?
Like 18.
Like 20?
They're all the
Min
same
is the
age.
same age
Yeah.
as me.
Yeah, okay. When he says that, I sort of like give this like sort of defeated look of like, yeah, it's true.
By the way, Min and Baylene's cottage is very cute. It looks kind of like the fantasy equivalent of like a starter apartment where like clearly they like both just like brought some stuff from their parents' houses and like kind of a mismatched like whatever anyone could give them kind of sets of furniture and a cute little thing that like says home sweet home like hanging on the wall.
Malachi weeps.
Regin also weeps.
Like I said, it's best to just ignore them most of the time.
Okay, are you sure they seem really sad?
Yeah, no, they are. They
Oh,
are.
okay, cool.
I'm not sad.
And you guys head out with Baleen in the direction of Mr. Gar's house. He lives kind of at the edge of town, has this fairly decent-sized little cottage. And as you approach, Baleen kind of like looks over at the three of you and she goes, okay, you guys are the professional secret agents. Should we like split up so he doesn't know we're together? And then, or does anybody want to come with me to talk to him? Or are you guys just going to sneak in?
I don't know him at all. Me talking
Right,
to him.
I think it's probably... I lean over and whisper to Baleen, it's probably best if they don't talk to him.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it because I know they're your friends, but like...
Right.
No,
but I'm a pragmatist.
you're right.
Yeah, okay, great.
We all know you're
Yeah,
right.
I'm whispering very loudly. You guys can totally hear me.
Like, my feelings are hurt about it, but I don't... It's fine. Yeah, no, I think what we should be doing is that you... Baleen, if that is your real name, you go talk to him. We'll sneak around the back, pop in, Finn, we need you to come in with us because we don't know what's unusual for here. So we need your eye on that.
All right.
And Mal can stand guard because he's not a sneaky boy.
Not right now, I'm not.
Cool.
I mean, it's not like this is like a high-tech vault we're breaking into. We're just climbing through the back window.
Yeah.
Honestly, half the time he leaves the back door unlocked.
Great to know. Good. Love small villages.
Okay, so
All right.
you guys
All right, go team. Break.
You all put your hands in and then move them out. Baleen kind of like splits off from your group and basically like approaches from like up the road, just kind of like waving and smiling cheerfully. And you guys sort of sneak around toward the back of the house. I need stealth checks from all of you.
All of us?
Yeah, this is like a low DC. This is just kind of to get around without being spotted.
19.
Nice.
14.
3.
Okay. Did you remember disadvantage?
Yes,
Regin?
it was an 11 both times.
Great. Yeah, so with 2 successes, you guys managed to kind of quietly... Malachi is really not good at this, but
I
you
take
managed
3 steps, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay out front.
Fair enough.
Tell me what you find.
Malachi just hangs back, while the 2 of you sneak around to the back. You try the doorknob, and it is, in fact, unlocked. Go ahead and make me another stealth check to, like, actually get into the house.
12.
8.
Cool. You guys open the back door and sort of sneak into the house. You kind of make... The back door is, like, creakier than you remember, Finn. I'm gonna make a roll for Baleen to see if she can kind of, like... You hear her, like, raise her voice and kind of say, like, oh, what's that over there? I'm gonna make a roll for her to see if she can kind of distract effectively. Ooh. Natural 17 from her. You hear Mr. Gar almost like sound to start to say like, did you hear something? And she's like, whoa, look over there, and she is distracted. Yeah, and you guys sneak back into the house. Finn, you've been in this house a couple times, so you'd know that Mr. Gar has like a spare room. You know where the spare room is. And then that he has like his room as well as kind of having like a kitchen, living room area. Do you guys head for the spare room?
Yeah.
I would also like to make an Arcana check to see if my arm hairs are pointing in any directions.
What does that mean?
We established that in the Kuatoa cave.
You let him do it when we were in the Kuatoa cave.
Not.
Wait a second. I let you do it just in the direction of anything?
No, it was in the
magic?
direction of like something magic.
Of the cube.
Fine, go ahead and roll. Roll for arm hairs.
Ooh.
With disadvantage.
Some bullshit.
Yeah, that was a 3.
Uh-huh.
For arm hairs, that comes to a 3.
Mm-hmm. Your arm hairs are soft and not pointing anywhere.
Wow.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do...
My arm hairs are so soft.
Wow, nice to see you've been moisturizing, bud.
I have been. Thank you.
And when we get to the door of the spare room, I'm going to cast Detect Magic.
Oh, cool. What's the range on Detect Magic?
30 feet.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep it active.
Cool. I'm going to say you don't pick up on anything.
Just me, baby.
You don't pick up on anything magic coming from, like, within the room. Other than, yeah, Regin always feels faintly magic when you detect magic him. And actually, today feels like almost, like, slightly more, like, it's, like, elevated levels of magic.
Wow, Regin, moisturizing's really working for you.
Oh, maybe I should stop.
Outside, Malachi's exfoliating himself with the sand. Just sitting there.
You're wearing a full suit of armor.
Yeah, and I take off one piece to exfoliate there. I put the gauntlet back on. I take off the other gauntlet to exfoliate there, and so on.
You go into the... Do you go into the room?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys go into the guest room. It looks, like, perfectly normal. There's, like, John's been staying here for a while, so he's kind of looks like he's unpacked. You see some, like, sets of clothes, around, as well as, like, some boots, like a spare pair of boots, it looks like, and, like, a jacket, because today's a pretty nice day, so he didn't take his jacket. No sign of him. He doesn't seem to be here. There's, like a journal, it looks like, kind of, like, by the, table. Bed is made.
I flip through the journal.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check.
This would be so much better if Regin had slept.
Haha, nice. That was a 19 and a 17.
Ooh.
So 17.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty. You manage to kind of like get a pretty thorough look through it, and there's nothing that immediately jumps out at you as alarming. It looks like he seems to be talking about like very genuinely kind of like I like am like I've gotten
John.
Yeah, I've gotten tired of life in the big city. Like, it's so much nicer here. You see there's some details of kind of, like, it looks like he went through, like, a messy divorce, and was kind of trying to, like, get away from it all. But he talks about, like, really liking Gillsbury, and, like, that all the people here are very kind, and that Mr. Gar is very kind and is very, like, interested in hearing his stories about the mainland, and kind of, like, keeps asking, like, about different details of different things, and seems like he really is interested in it. In fact, with a 17, I'll give you that you find an entry where he kind of talks about how, like, one of the you find an entry where it seems like he maybe had a couple conversations that day where he talks about how, like, it's a shame that with the town being as with everyone being as kind as they are, that the town's been struggling so much lately, because John kind of explains in the journal that the supply of fish has been dwindling over the past few years, and that this year has been especially bad in terms of just there not being good catches. And John says, like, that it's a shame that nice people like Mr. Gar, like, don't have as much kind of, like, safe retirement money as would be good, and that the town's economy is just kind of generally, like, a bit of a mess right now. And John just kind of seems like, it's a shame that it's like this. Also talks about how it seems like people are some people are a little unhappy with taxes from the capital, but that other people are more just kind of like, are blaming it on the supply of fish and on, like, the gods for there not being enough fish.
I tap on that section in the journal with one finger, and I'm like, hey, Finn, before you left, why did you leave? Was it he says that the fish weren't here as much anymore, and so people are struggling. Is that why you left?
Well, there was a confluence of factors, but yeah, that was part of it. You know, I wanted to go. We were falling on some lean time, so I thought I'd go seek my fortune. See if I could send some money back home. And I did.
Huh. Must be nice.
Yeah, it is. Thanks.
I closed the journal.
Cool.
Wow, so this seems like a pretty nice guy, honestly. I feel sort of bad now.
Both of you go ahead and make perception checks for me.
10.
12.
Okay. I will say, Finn, you're going to catch this with your passive perception anyway. Because what you're catching is your own name. Being spoken outside as Baleen and Mr. Gar are talking about you. So you hear Finn, and you sort of like tune into the conversation a little bit more.
Can I also listen or see if I perceive this?
You can make a perception check. You're kind of far away, but you can make a perception check because you're still outside, sitting on the beach exfoliating. But you can make a perception check.
I got a 17.
Okay, with a 17, yeah, I'll say you're also hearing this conversation. You also kind of perk up your ears a little bit at the sound of Finn. Cool. And you hear that Mr. Gar is like, yeah, so I see Finn made it back into town, brought a couple of weird-looking guys with him. And
I think that's you, Regin.
Regin, you're listening. You can hear it also, so assume that all three of you can hear it. And Baleen's kind of like, yeah, they're really nice. I mean, they're like from all over. They have all kinds of stories about from their traveling and stuff like that. And Mr. Gar goes like, really, what kinds of? Tell me what. You know me. I like to hear stories from around. What kinds of things has Finn been up to?
He does like to hear stories.
What kind of things has Finn been up to? And Baleen's kind of like seizes onto the topic of conversation. And you see that she's kind of talking about she starts talking about some of the things that you'd mentioned, Finn, and sort of starts to talk about, like, she's like, oh, well, he was at this resort and there were like these weird cultists there, and starts to kind of tell some of that story, and then gets to some more of the things that you kind of like tiptoed your way around, Finn, and she is sort of like telling him about them also, and then she seems to kind of like maybe think better of saying a lot of things with the whole secret agent thing and everything like that, and so she kind of is like, yeah, and I don't know, like a few other things also. And you see Mr. Gar goes, did he say anything about why he was back in town? And Baylene's like, he was just kind of visiting for, like, you know, just to hang out. And Mr. Gar's like, and do you know anything about either of those friends of his? And Baylene's like, they seem really sad, but other than that, I mean, you know, a lot of people who kind of come and hang out at Gillsbury seem kind of sad. And Mr. Gar goes, oh, ain't that the truth? A lot of people around here are sad too, you know. It's just generally rough few years for everybody. And Baylene goes, yeah, I know. And then you see she kind of like, there's like a few seconds of awkward pause, and then she goes, well, I should probably be leaving, and kind of like raises her voice a little bit, as if to kind of tell you guys that the conversation is coming to an end. Regin and Finn, you're still standing in the house.
When I heard all that, I assume we made some sort of rendezvous point at some point, whether it was just like back at Baylene's house or not, and I just start to make my way there.
Okay.
Do you think, I don't know, I don't really see anything else around that jumps out at me.
Yeah, I got.
Do I?
Do you do kind of like a quick walk around the living room?
Yeah.
You detect one magical signature kind of as your like radar of detect magic, because it stays up for 10 minutes. As your radar of detect magic goes by Mr. Gar's room, you pick up a ping of magic coming from inside.
What kind?
Mr. Gar.
You pick up a hint of evocation magic coming from inside Mr. Gar's room. Kind of as Baylene is saying, like, well, I'm gonna be going.
Alright. Regin, do you trust me?
Yeah?
I hug Regin and Misty step us both outside the house.
I don't think Misty Step takes somebody with you.
Oh, what? Really?
Which is a shame,
doesn't.
because that would be excellent to do.
Alright, then I just hug Regin and try to do it, and it doesn't happen, and I'm like, oh, okay, you're gonna have to believe me. I had like a thing I was gonna do here.
No, this is actually, really nice. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Malachi's outside at the rendezvous point, tapping his non-existent watch, looking nervously back at the house.
I suppose we just bolt.
Basically, if you guys leave right now, you can get out the back door and kind of make a run for it. If you guys stay any longer. Yeah. It's kind of like he's like starting to get up and he's like, yeah, I've got better go inside and start getting some lunch. It's kind of like it's go
the
time.
Old slap the thigh.
Alright, yeah, we should probably head out.
Cool. You guys scamper very quickly out the back door. Okay. And you kind of make it around back to the rendezvous point. Baylene and Malachi both beat you there. Malachi, Baylene kind of came up to you and she was like, wow, that was so fun. I feel like I was like running a con. It's way cooler when me and Finn used to do this. It was always just to like, you know, because we were bored or whatever, but it's way more fun to do it when it's like for a reason.
Yeah, you did a really good job, actually.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, talking to people is easy. Oh, hey, Finn.
Classic Baylene. Oh yeah, I'm here now.
You guys kind of arrive up to the rendezvous point.
I look at Regin and Finn. Did you find anything in John's room?
No.
He seems like a cool dude.
I read his diary.
Honestly, I feel a little bad for him.
Regin, you have to stop doing that.
It's a good way to get things.
You didn't take it, did you? You don't
No,
need
I
any other
didn't
people's
take it.
diaries.
Yeah, I'm not done filling out his diary yet, so.
Poor Baylene.
No, it was actually kind of boring. He genuinely seems like a nice dude, so.
I'm a little
bit
worried
of a
we were
wash.
concerned about the wrong person.
Hey, Min, Baylene.
Min stayed behind, but Baylene is here.
Wait, aren't we at their house?
I assumed the rendezvous point was like a tree, but yeah, I will say you guys started walking back to her
Okay.
house, so you can get back to her house now.
Hey, Min, Baleen, and this is also me asking if Finn knows.
Yeah.
Can Mr. Gar do magic?
You, Finn, have never known him to do magic, and the two of them kind of look at each other and they're like, no, what? He's just like a guy.
Huh, well, yeah, that's what I thought.
Father Ceviche and you are the only ones in the village who can do magic.
Haha, yeah. But there was I can do a thing now where I can detect when there is magic.
Ooh!
And there was some magic in Mr. Gar's room. We didn't have time to go in, but
Huh.
I raised my eyebrows.
I wonder what that would be.
yeah.
Wait, you said you read John's diary?
Yeah.
Was there anything useful in there?
Nothing we didn't really already know, just that, like, fishing yields are down around here, and the government's raising taxes or whatever.
Yep, all that's true.
I don't.
Oh my god, that reminds me. Min and Baleen, guess what? I found out the government, might not be great.
Malachi just sort of makes a face at that.
Regin's like, yes, this is true. I'm a pirate. This is true.
They kind of exchange a glance and kind of lean forward and they're like, well, yeah, but that's just they're the government and it's whatever.
Right.
They're the kingdom.
Right, but I think it might not be whatever is the problem.
It's never whatever.
Well, the people that were worried about being here and doing something bad to Gillsbury are the government.
Wait. Min kind of holds out a hand and he's like, you're a secret agent against the government?
I mean, that's one way you could describe it.
Aren't secret agents, don't you usually do you work for someone else's government?
I don't think so. Again, the org structure is not super clear.
Huh.
Is Mr. Gar one of the ones who's upset with the government, or is he more one of the ones who's okay with the taxes?
Let me make a roll for both Min and Baleen. I don't think Finn would necessarily know this.
Absolutely not.
Cool. Min kind of shrugs and he's like, and Baleen's like, no, I think he's pretty, he's a big fan of,
Taxes.
Lithios in general. He always likes to go and visit the cities and stuff like that. I mean, nobody likes when they kind of nobody likes taxes, but he always goes, because sometimes the soldiers will come and kind of have their big ships with their big flags and be like, oh look, we're the military. Yep. And he always likes to go out and watch that. So I think he thinks it's kind of cool and is a little more of the patriotic type.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case.
And did you just say that he likes to go to the city?
Yeah, sometimes
he goes to the mainland.
Sometimes he'll go to the mainland. He's gone a couple times. He always talks about it a bunch when he comes back.
I don't know if you two heard what he was saying to Baleen out there, but
Baleen goes, oh yeah, he was asking about you guys. I mean, but you're newcomers. Everybody's gonna ask about you
we
guys.
are kind of inherently suspicious.
Yeah, but he was asking kind of weird questions, in my opinion.
Baleen kind of covers her mouth and she's like, "Oh shit, should I not have told him about
No,
the
you
stuff
did. You did
that
good.
You were doing?"
I mean, you didn't really reveal any details, which is fine.
I didn't tell him you were secret agents.
Wait, you did?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I specifically didn't say that.
I was like, holy shit, I missed that.
I did kind of tell him about the adventures and stuff like that.
Baleen, when would you say the last time that he went to the mainland was, or the last time that anybody else from the mainland came here?
Well, he went, I don't think he's been to the city in a few years, but they're, last month, I think, and Min's like, yeah, it was last month, maybe a month and a half ago, there was a, ship that came through from the capital, had some kind of, business to do in town, spoke with the mayor and all that, as they do.
Did you
and kind of came through.
See any of the people who were on it?
We have a mayor?
Yeah, he's got a big tufty mustache, wears a sash that says mayor.
Somebody has to be in charge of the town. I'm gonna make rolls again for them, history checks, to see if either of them noticed. Ooh. Okay. Baleen kind of wrinkles her nose and she's like, yeah, there were a couple soldiers, a couple diplomat-looking guys who went to meet with the mayor. There was also a guy who looked more like a priest. Some kind of clerical type. And he came and talked to, I remember he went by the chapel and like talked to Father Ceviche, which that's not that weird. Sometimes people like, priests come to visit and stuff like that. But then he also just kind of was like hanging out, which that was a little weird.
Huh.
Hanging out.
Like he like was around the village and was like, oh, blessings to you in the name of the sun and whatever not.
Right.
Sure.
Speak with Mr. Gar at all?
That's normal, right? I'm assuming that's normal.
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Okay. Don't really
But
have
like they don't
context.
always, like priests don't always come by here like on diplomatic missions. It's a little weird to bring a priest with you.
That's what I always say, and I sock Mal in the arm, and I probably hurt my hand.
Not a priest. Not even close.
So...
Okay.
Regin just trails off, and he's like,
Well,
yep.
I look at Finn. How much... I turn us both aside, and I whisper into his ear, how much do you want them to know here?
oh, Min and Baleen?
Not that I don't trust them, but information can be dangerous.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I don't want them to get... I don't know if is this a scenario where we need to worry about, like, getting captured and interrogated?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Probably.
Oh, right, that happened to you.
We pull Regin into the huddle here.
I smack Finn upside the head.
Okay, right. Hey, guys, FYI,
Yeah?
no, please don't take this the wrong way. We're gonna not tell you everything. You may have already picked up on the fact that we were doing that, but, like, there's some dangerous things that, like, if you knew them, you'd be in danger, so...
They exchange another glance, and Baleen's like, are you, like, good, Finn? Like, are you in danger?
Baby, I am the danger.
Oh, probably, but I can do magic spells.
Well, that's true. I can't do magic spells. Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you don't have to tell us everything, I guess that makes sense.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I know it's weird, but
It is,
Yeah,
it's a little weird, but, we're all, like...
just to be safe.
Yeah.
I lean back into the huddle. He was asking some pretty invasive questions about what you have been doing, Finn, and I'm a little worried that Mr.
I
Gar...
mean, I am a pretty fascinating guy.
Okay, sure, but he was asking about all of our adventures...
I have an enchanting personality.
And asking in details in a way that, you didn't even give to your own parents. So...
Yeah.
I'm worried he's
Well-
feeding information to the government in some sort of exchange for
What?
help for Lithios.
Finn had not connected those dots at all. Well, I was gonna go see Father Ceviche today anyways.
That's a good idea.
I could ask him if that priest was being sketch.
Yeah, do we trust Father
Because,
Ceviche?
I want to figure out where Mr. Gar got whatever that magic thing in his room is. Because that's not very common to see around here.
Wait, what was the magic thing in his room?
Oh, I don't know, but something with evocation on it.
Evocation, that's like the elements.
That's like boom, blast.
Like storm stuff?
Could be. Could be.
Like Priest of Cord sort of stuff?
Sure.
Priest of anybody, yeah.
Okay. I remove myself from the huddle.
Cool. Min and Baleen were sitting at their kitchen table, kind of like looking, not listening, but kind of like looking with concern. And they're sort of like, Baleen's like, well, I need to go to work. It's been a very weird morning. Honestly, I'm a little late already. And Min's like, oh my god, sweetie, you are late. Go. And she's like, okay. And kind of like pulls herself together and kind of is like, bye guys, see you later. And heads off
Thanks
to
for your
work.
help.
Bye. Don't forget your fillet. Your filleting knife. It's on the table.
Oh, thank you. I almost would have forgotten. She grabs
I
it.
hate for you to forget that.
she grabs it and sticks
Like,
it in her
I love
pocket.
that it's a bring your own knives to work sort of job.
Oh, for sure. We've all got our
Oh,
own.
God.
And she heads out the door. And Min's kind of like, well, you guys are welcome to stay if you want, but I have lesson plans to work on.
Yeah, it's alright. We gotta go see a priest about a priest.
Huh, classic.
Yeah. And
Want to play backgammon later?
Oh, hell yeah. Let's do it.
Nice.
And you guys are going to go speak with Father Ceviche?
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
As we walk out, I'm saying to Regin and Malachi, hey, either of you guys any good at backgammon?
I don't know what that
The fuck is backgammon?
Because I'm not. He destroys me every time.
Is that like cards?
Oh, I'm good at cards.
I mean, it's a game, So, in some sense, yeah.
You wanna play cards? You wanna play poker, Mel?
Not right now.
Well, no, not right now, obviously. I'm just saying, I'm dreaming of happier times.
Are you?
Wow, that's a big step for you, Regin.
I don't know, it feels kind of self-destructive right now, to be honest with you.
What are you betting with?
Hey, don't worry. Remember what you said. Nothing can harm us.
Did I say that?
You did say that last
That
night.
sounds like a weird thing for me to say.
Doesn't sound right, but
And you guys make your way toward the combination chapel, one bench schoolhouse to speak with Father Ceviche.
combination chapel Taco Bell.
Yeah, that too.
Fish tacos only.
And as you guys are heading to the combination chapel, one bedroom schoolhouse, I think we will go ahead and end our session
One
there.
bedroom school.
One bedroom.
Regin takes a nap.
Oh, yeah, the old teacher also slept there.
It's a small starter apartment.
On the bench.
The bench actually converts into a bed.
It's a futon.
It's a Murphy bed.
We've been calling it a bench, but it's a futon, actually.
It's not a very comfortable futon, so they call it a bench. This is not what I was picturing at all.
Good.
Cool. Okay, great. Good session, everybody.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, so thank you as always so much for listening. If you want more of our fun content, you can find us other places on the internet, at Ship of Fools Cast on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. You can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/shipoffools for lots of our fun bonus content or just to support the show. We just dropped a new episode of our side campaign, Folio. So if you're interested in some Shakespearean shenanigans, really
Which you should be.
shenanigans heavy episode.
Or people turning into horses.
Yep,
or
any of that stuff. To really...
fairies in the woods.
This one's a lot.
Werther's Originals.
All right, don't spoil it.
Yeah, so check us out there. A few people that we need to thank. First of all, thank you, as always, to Lucas Mangold for our beautiful theme music. You can find him at lucascarlmusic@gmail.com.
That's Carl with a K.
Thank
Trying
you.
to shake up the style a little bit. I haven't quite found my groove.
That's
liked
nice,
it.
keeping it fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also thank you to Teoh Golden for our logo art, and you can find him at tgoldenart on Instagram. And you can find us back here on your, podcast feed on June 8th with a new episode. Yeah.
Sure can.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting right here waiting until then.
Yep. We don't go anywhere. This
We
is
live
it.
inside your whatever device you're listening to this on.
It's a little
Yeah.
stuffy in here.
It's
but
so cramped.
I haven't slept in 15 years.
Wow.
That's actually unrelated. That's just her thing that she has going on.
Okay, thanks. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you on the open seas.
So true.
Bye.